And I did a 2 video with the Kimby Matumbo and a 2 for with P Rose. I'm gonna do one with John Amos. Um, as I touched upon it, I just thought about his roles. When I say, when you go from James Evans Sr. to Kunta Kinte and the display and the strength, um, just reflecting on what he meant was powerful. It's dynamic. A black, strong male figure that was front and center in an era when it wasn't fashionable. Not like that, without it being some shuffling and some jive, and which ended up coming to pass. He had expressions. Now I go back 30 years ago, which doesn't get talked about, but you know, Dr. Dre and Ice Cube in that video, and they did like their reenactment of OJ of that night in Brentwood that way, you know. So thinking about that video with Ice Cube, that's when Cube could do no wrong, and Dre, you know. So you think about that, and you know, you just have those reflections of uh of how that whole thing was. It's so much that his sternness, his voice, his vibe, his aura was so powerful that you just couldn't get over what he represented as a man, uh, his trajectory, and his soul. You were just putting it into perspective. And Natural Born Killer. I had to have a reflection on it for a moment because it's been a while. But that song video, and he did that. He said, the way he was Tupac had a cameo in that too. John Amos just had this aura about him, this strength. I think his son organized that. But the thing about it is John Amos had so much respect. And of course, I remember Lockdown with him and Sylvester Stallone and Donald Sutherland. And he was commander in chief. And he just always had a presence about him. He just was matter of fact, you know, man's man, very strong, very bold. But what he was is Kunta Kinte, and also as LeVar Burton played the younger version. He played the old version. It was incredible because you could feel that. He'd actually lived in Africa, as a matter of fact. And you could feel his aura and his presence. You felt Mandingo War. You felt a man that was about, he wasn't just acting, Sometimes you get people, they just do lines. You really felt his energy, his synergy. I don't think he gets enough due as one of the greatest TV and film actors, because in film, to take a character, I think I remember he was in this movie called Mother Jugs and Speed. He didn't get a lot of play. I want to say Larry Hagman was in there, but if I'm guessing right, and they both were in it, two of the most iconic figures on CBS back in the day, the network. But to be able to do that, and as a black actor, to pull those two off, because everybody remembers his role in McDowell's and Coming to America, which was pivotal. And he was in the last incarnation of Coming to America too. He held Eddie Murphy in high regard. He had done the film thing. Let's Do It Again, of course, is Kansas City Mac, one of my all-time favorite movies. You remember that running scene? He tried out for the Kansas City Chiefs, didn't make the team, but he played in Canada. But the guy could motor. He had wheels. No. He was an acting presence. He had roles. It wasn't, when you look at his career, you see a guy that, you could feel that aura, you could feel that presence, and very talented, very dignified, matter of fact. And I enjoyed his interviews with Willie D. Live, which I watch. John Amos was on there. Bernetta Stans did a great mention on Instagram about John Amos. So if you get a chance, peep her out on there. And Ralph Carter and Jimmy Walker, they're all thoughts and prayers. Everybody associated with him because he left such an indelible, he was indelible for us. He's such a magnetic presence. And, when you hear him articulating what he was coming from. He really hit you. And I used to enjoy watching the clips with him and his son on Instagram when they would travel, and the music and the journeys, the theater, the different things that he took on. But make no mistake about it, John Amos was not about no foolishness. You felt the earnest of a man that put his work into his craft, but he was real time. And he held a standard. He held a standard, you know. And like I said, I watched anything that he was in because he, just spoke to the soul, to the spirit. So I wanted to do it where I did a totality. Different things that he did, because I told you, of course, obviously being on the Mary Tyler Moore show as a meteorologist. Think about it, a black man on a comedy show doing meteorology work. He was versatile. He was well apt. He could do theater and plays too. So he did stage. That's why him and Esther Rowe got mad at Norman Lear for JJ Jimmy Walker's Kid Dynamite and all the shenanigans, because he wanted something authentic, because they were stage trained actors. Just like Sherman Hemsley was with the Jeffersons, Remember John Amos was in Sanford, son. You remember the Lena Horne about did you get Flip Wilson? Did you inhale Flip Wilson's oil too, Fred? He fit in a lot of things. And he had a presence, did commercials, And you felt a soul with him. Felt soul. John Amos is kind of like, when I think about Frankie Beverly, that represents an era where you felt soul. People always understand how soul hits you. It's like James Brown. It's like soul, like Al Green, like Marvin Gaye, like Aretha Franklin. It's soul. Gladys Knight, soul. I ain't got to explain it. You just know it when you feel it. Otis Redding, it just hits you with soul. It's just that warm that it just hits you. It can be 10 below degrees, but that soul hits you. It hits the mother lobe. So it's my thoughts and memories of the late, great John Amos, and I wanted to give it the full totality. And our thoughts and prayers. And to everybody else who was a fan of the man, let's talk about it. Let's remember. All right, I'm out. Peace.